I've been a big fan of Sonic ever since I was a little kid. I mean, once my hands got on those games, I just couldn't stop. And it didn't even end at the games. Early 2000s, the internet was just a really new thing, especially YouTube. I would go on YouTube for hours on the family computer just looking at all these great Sonic YouTube videos. Stuff like Sonic Shorts, Amy Eats Sonic, Shadow 759, Rogue Eats Sonic, Sonic Comics, Tails Eats Sonic. Oh, let's not forget Bellina Productions. And also, what was it called? Amy Eats Sonic and Tails. That was until I realized, of course, that I was literally looking at fetish porn on YouTube in 2008. But, you live and you learn. The point I'm getting at is that I'm a huge Sonic nerd, and that's very embarrassing. But more importantly, it gives me the edge when I watch Sonic content to sniff out bullshit. Like this video, Shadow the Hedgehog, not an edgy hedgy. It is a quintessential example of how propaganda works. And if you think this is really ridiculous of me pointing this out in a Sonic the Hedgehog video, well, you're kind of right. But hey, you're the one who clicked on a video with a thumbnail like this, so join me, Zemos HD, as I tear this video apart. Britannica defines propaganda as dissemination of information, facts, arguments, rumors, half-truths, or lies in order to influence public opinion. But technically speaking, that definition could apply to literally any video ever uploaded on the internet that has the goal of convincing you of something. I mean, technically, I produce propaganda by this definition. So for the purposes of this video, when I say propaganda, I specifically am referring to the idea that you take a piece of media or information and you shave it down and you mislabel it or show it in a different context than it was originally supposed to be in order to misinform and push an agenda or idea. Take, for example, this video by Steven Crowder on the trailer of Atomic Blonde, where he purposefully misleads people into what these fight scenes are actually doing.
You can see she beats every single man in an unrealistic fashion, and everyone tries to act like, oh yeah, see, women can be badass too. But just look at this, it's just nowhere in the natural realm does this even occur. Oh, a front kick doesn't send her back. With female badass and superheroes, I get it. Wonder Woman, okay, it's supernatural. You can do anything you want with it. But just like secret agents, the whole kind of female James Bond, the female John Wick thing, it is unbelievable. And that's why you have to suspend the laws of all physics to make it seem like they could win a fight.
You're the right Japanese guy hidden in the mountains of some crazy mountain. And that guy will teach you the tricks to kick ass everywhere you go.
No, okay, let me show you two clips here. I couldn't stop myself from laughing so hard it just removed me from it. That's why I can't watch this film. Let's see these two instances, and I'll give you a play-by-play. Okay, front kick. That's the second time she sends a guy flying with a front kick. That doesn't happen. Okay, and here, this is my favorite. Look, she takes out trained killers by hitting them with an empty high heel.
So ignoring the fact that in the very trailer he's showing, you can literally see that that's not how she defeats these guys in the car, let's go ahead and hop into one of the examples he uses.
High heel, watch.
Okay, exact same scenario, but we removed the headrest here so he might even be able to generate more force. Jared holding the stiletto the exact same way, clearly stronger than a woman. Life and death struggle. Would this stop me? Go.
I love how in this scene you could see the bottom little view where she's doing the action and how they try to mimic it, except it's not the same at all because she's using the heel completely differently to the Jared guy in the video.
Then there's the front kick where she front kicks and it sends a guy flying.
Again, I noticed twice we see Charlize Theron defying the laws of physics because she's a strong woman. 2 times she front kicks a guy and he goes flying. Now I want to clarify, it's possible to send someone flying with a push kick or a stomp kick, but to do that you need to be going forward to gain leverage. So we are going to allow Jared, again, stronger than a woman, surprising I know, he beat Courtney in the arm wrestling match, we're going to allow him the opportunity to front kick me to the chest as hard as humanly possible, as many times as possible, and I will stand, I won't take a staggered stance to see if he can kick me back. Okay, so, here. Not...
I mean, just everything about the way they try to recreate this is wrong. The posture, the setting, the fact that both men are in compromised positions from the person kicking them. It's literally just designed from the ground up to represent the most inaccurate picture. It also serves as a really good embarrassment of his friend here. Alright, I'll stop the torture of the Steven Crowder video. The point I'm trying to get across is that this is the type of thing I mean when I say propaganda. Very obvious, blatant lies, things taken out of context, not using your critical thinking skills from 3rd grade and your 9th grade physical science education to understand what you're looking at. So let's not delay any further. Let's get to the video you guys really came here for.
Get him right. He's not a villain, he's not an anti-hero, and he's not an edgelord. He's one of the most popular characters because he had a genuinely moving arc, not because he's edgy meme fodder. He's a quiet hero who cares about others. He's done with his desire for revenge, his hatred of people, and his superiority complex. He's moved on. He has a responsibility to protect the world since his oldest friend believed that was his purpose. Shadow the Hedgehog, one of the most popular and confusing Sonic characters. Yeah, there is some uncertainty in what kind of character Shadow is. Is he a rival to Sonic? A villain? An anti-hero? Most people would tell you that he's Sega's violence-loving, foul-mouthed edgelord. And to that I say, no. Not only is he not an edgelord, he has gotta be the most misrepresented, misunderstood Sonic character. To fully understand Shadow, we need to dig deep in his introduction. In Sonic Adventure 2, Shadow was written in a way that establishes him as a darker character, but without overstressing it and painting him as a stereotypical edgelord.
Before we dive into this video, let's look at the setup of the rivalries between Knuckles and Sonic and Shadow and Sonic. After the destruction of the Death Egg in the second game, Sonic and Tails are traveling to Angel Island, when all of a sudden Sonic decides to turn to Super Sonic and gets demolished by Knuckles. So right out the bat, we see an incredibly interesting trait of Knuckles. Super strength. I mean, if he's strong enough to knock the Chaos Emeralds out of Sonic, what else can he do? Well, besides being able to glide over long distances and climb walls, he's also able to literally walk through them. So, I mean, again, he's literally the pillar of strength in Team Sonic for a reason. In Sonic Adventure 2, after being chased by the police, Sonic meets Shadow the Hedgehog, someone who can use Chaos Control to match his speed, but in his own stages, we see that he can skate about as fast as Sonic can run. So what's the rivalry about then? Well, besides framing Sonic for various crimes, I believe the rivalry and disagreement mainly between Shadow and Sonic's style is their personalities. Sonic is a much more wholesome character, he cares about other people and is willing to do whatever is right. Meanwhile, Shadow's more of an anti-hero. He clearly doesn't care what happens to others as long as it furthers his own goals, but we'll see that proven further on in the video.
Look at the cutscene where the bubbly Amy Rose hugs Shadow, mistaking him for Sonic. If he was an edgelord, he would have hit her and yelled, "Don't touch me!" But no, he just looks at her with a smile that says, "What are you doing?"
I'm sorry, what? There is no smile. It doesn't exist, it's not on his face. The worst part is that if you actually watch the scene, you notice that he's not only not smiling, but he does something pretty sinister.
Everyone ready? Shadow, Rouge, on with the show!
Oh, Sonic! I thought I'd never see you again. I'm so glad you made it. You're not Sonic. Who are you?
I'm the one who should be asking that.
Dr. Eggman.
Amy, you're tiny. Leave it to me. I'll take care of her. You two.
Ah yes, everyone's hero, ladies and gentlemen, the guy who leaves the bubbly Amy Rose to be murdered by Eggman. If it wasn't for Giga Chad Tails, honestly, she would have died here. Which leads me into my first intermission. Okay, so Sonic Adventure 2 introduced the mechs, right? The cool super battle droid mechs, whatever the fuck, I don't care. Look at this shit. They're literally holding up the mechs with just their arms. Like, is that not impressive? Like, they didn't tell me that they would have super strength. So when I first played the game, I just kind of paused it for a minute. I was just sitting there like, holy shit. Like, they're literally holding up giant mechs with their freaking arms. And Tails is just one-arming that shit. Like, that's ridiculous. Alright, let's get back to the video.
In his first encounter with Sonic, he gave the impression that he's the most powerful being on Earth, or in other words, the ultimate life form. So he started out pretty smug, but throughout the story, his rivalry with Sonic slowly changed him. Sonic kept on surprising Shadow, especially when he escaped Eggman's death trap utilizing Chaos Control, with a phony Chaos Emerald no less. And during the final boss battle, Shadow exclaims that Sonic may be the ultimate life form. By the end, Shadow has become humbler and grew to respect Sonic. The heaviest part of his character is his tragic past. We're given glimpses of it early to see that he's seeking revenge on humanity for the death of his oldest friend, Maria Robotnik. One of the most emotional moments is when Rouge the Bad asks him if he's the real Shadow. He replies that even if he isn't, his promise to Maria is the most real thing about him. You feel sympathy for him here.
I mean, sure, you can be sympathetic towards him, but you have to remember that he's literally acting as a terrorist throughout the first and second act of the story. No, seriously, like, it's literally a terrorist plot. At least, like, Rouge is acting on behest of the president at this point. Eggman's just a villain, but for a first character showing of Shadow, he's literally just a terrorist.
In the last story, we discover that his creator, Gerald Robotnik, wanted revenge for Maria as well, so he alters Shadow's memory of what Maria wanted to fuel his hatred of people. It's thanks to the pure-hearted Amy that Shadow remembered that Maria wished for him to save humanity, and he immediately goes into fight, even if he has to sacrifice himself to do so. Shadow's not an Edgelord. He's a three-dimensional character with a gripping arc, and that arc helps cement Shadow as one of the best characters.
Okay, so in Sonic Adventure 2, Shadow teams up with Eggman, he leaves Amy to die at the hands of Eggman, blows up a military base, is planning to destroy the Earth using a death raid, and the only reason why he doesn't go through with it is because Amy reminds him that what Maria said was to save the Earth, not destroy it. Does that sound like a hero to you? Mind you, he didn't have a true, genuine change of heart. He didn't find the value of human life or the Earth in and of itself. He literally only decided not to blow up the Earth because he remembered what Maria actually said about protecting it. But yeah, he's a hero.
In Sonic Heroes, Shadow has been brought back. I mean, after he saved the world, Shadow's been given a second chance. He earned that. Heroes' writing is true to his redeemed character at the end of SA2. As soon as he wakes up, he saves Rouge from E-123 Omega's rampage, giving new players a good first impression. In the same cutscene, Shadow becomes a part of the Team Dark trio, consisting of Rouge and Omega. These two were commonly known as his closest friends, and Shadow may not always express it, but these two warmed up to him. He chats with them, and he likes being with them. It's endearing to see Shadow and Rouge go from indifferent partners in crime to genuine buddies. His rivalry with Sonic is still on good terms. They banter and like to test each other's skills. In his campaign, he's been given a case of 2000's amnesia. He ponders on who he is and wonders if he's real. But in the final stage, we have this brief but cathartic moment when he declares that he doesn't care whether he's real or not. He'll just be himself. A satisfying conclusion to his arc in this game. Forget the past and live for the future. After looking at these two games, we realize what kind of character Shadow is. An introverted person who has a soft spot for people, but doesn't always know how to show it. This makes him another Sonic character that a lot of kids can relate to. There are kids who are shy, kids who hang out with only a small number of friends. Kids can see themselves in Shadow.
Yeah, I basically agree. The character development in Sonic Heroes was top notch. No notes.
And he's called an Edgelord. Where would you get an idea like that? Oh! Well, since Shadow has become so popular, he was bound to get a spin-off. Not only that, this was Sonic Team's perfect chance to design a Sonic game where you can use a gun, since so many kids were asking for that around the time. Whoever these kids are, they must be face-palming by now. Sonic Team wanted to amplify the darkness to the max, and in doing so, they abandoned Shadow's good-natured disposition in favor of over-the-top angst. Enter the 2005 game Shadow the Hedgehog. And it got Shadow wrong big time. The first cutscene screams at us that Shadow is out of character here. He's gone back to questioning about his past even though he got over that in Sonic Heroes. The whole game is him whining about the past again and again.
Now, I can uncover the truth about my past. I need to know about my past. I need these emeralds to uncover the truth about my past. I need these emeralds to help me uncover my past.
The past, oh my god, it's the past.
So, remember when I said I had no notes? I lied. You know, when I first watched this video, it seemed fine. But then I kept rewatching it. You know, usually whenever I make a video on anything, I watch the video at least twice. Whatever I'm responding to, I watch it at least twice. But the more I kept watching, and the more I figured out what the arguments were, I got irrationally upset. And that's because I've played these games, all of them, at least twice. I have played these games. And with that, you cannot bullshit me. Check this scene out real quick.
He ponders on who he is and wonders if he's real. But in the final stage, we have this brief but cathartic moment when he declares that he doesn't care whether he's real or not. He'll just be himself. A satisfying conclusion to his arc in this game.
So, fun fact, this is actually not the final stage at all. Literally, each team in Sonic Heroes has that monologue towards the start of Egg Fleet. In fact, each team has a specific ending CGI cutscene. Let's watch the one for Team Dark now.
Eggman target completely destroyed.
Now let's find that secret treasure.
Prepare to destroy immediate area.
Hey, Omega. Did I ever tell you that Shadow is a robot? Oh, never mind. Good luck.
You know about cloning. The original Mupp exists somewhere.
It's like a bad joke. Like, are you serious? This Aiden Ross Hassan Piker love child is just lying. He's just blatantly lying. How are you gonna call yourself characters in depth when you can't even get the characters right? And I did not see a single comment on his video about this at all. It's so strange. Even this video I found while making this one, criticizing the very video I'm criticizing, did not stress that point either. So I guess everyone just missed it. Unfortunately, I still have to wade through the muck of the rest of this video. So let's get to it.
No more gods, no more graves. Are you friend?
Then the evil alien army, the Black Arms, invade Central City. And how does Shadow react?
Look how pathetic they are. I don't have time for these humans.
Our hero, ladies and gentlemen. A city's being destroyed, civilians are likely hurt, and all he can say is, screw him. Then the main villain, Black Doom, tells Shadow to get the Chaos Emeralds as promised, giving him the idea that he knows about his past. This convinces Shadow to set out to retrieve the emeralds to find the truth of his past. So he doesn't step in when lives are in danger, but when there's something in it for him, then he goes. This is the same Shadow that saved the world in SA2. The same Shadow that saved Rouge in Heroes. This guy is not a hero. Also, he gave an abysmal first impression for new players.
So now he's just using the lie to build on these premises. That's pretty funny. I mean, it's like so unbelievably ridiculous. Not to mention the fact that this is more in line with this character from Sonic Adventure 2. A guy who's only self-interested. I mean, again, he was about to blow up the Earth until he remembered that his childhood friend told him to save humanity and not destroy it. But yeah, no self-interest there at all.
The layout of the story in this game is a set of branching paths that change depending on which mission you'll tackle. This may have been ambitious, but it should have been one linear storyline. Because of the branching paths, Shadow's personality shifts like rapid mood swings. One minute he's, no one tells me what to do, I'm going my own way. And the next he's,
Carpet Day!
No matter what path you take, nothing about his character feels organic here. His rivalry with Sonic has been botched too. He's supposed to see Sonic as his equal, but instead, he acts all surly and finds him to be a pest. In one ending, he just turns on Sonic, and joyful, victorious music plays after you beat him.
Okay, so are we gonna pretend now that in Sonic Adventure 2, Shadow didn't directly trick Eggman into following his plan? Like, even towards the end of Sonic Adventure 2, even Eggman changed his mind on, basically suicide bombing the Earth. So from this perspective, it kind of does make sense that Shadow would betray Sonic in the end, even if he was working with him. Now, the fact of the matter is that the choice itself existing isn't even the problem. It's the fact that the game doesn't lock you into a certain ending based on the choices you make until the very end of the game.
His friendship with Rouge and Omega has zero development. We don't even see all three together. It doesn't help that Shadow never talks to anybody during the stages. Sure, he talks to himself a lot, but he never gets in a conversation with any of the other characters. He did so in Heroes, so why not here? Most of the supporting characters he never talked to before. What a missed opportunity. To be fair, I do like his empathetic moments with Maria and the Gun Commander, but they can't make up for all this hot garbage. This game it sabotaged Shadow's character to the point of parody. It reinforced the misconception of what Shadow was like, and after 14 years, he's still suffering for it. But thankfully, despite all the problems Sonic 06 has, it got Shadow's character right. No exaggerated angst or amnesia. Shadow's written as selfless and heroic.
No match for me. Shadow, why you? Don't you want to know what this is?
My assignment was to rescue you, nothing more.
Fine. With you, it's always business.
With brand new opportunities to flesh him out more. Mostly thanks to two new characters, Silver the Hedgehog and Mephiles the Dark. Mephiles is a straight-up menacing villain that tests Shadow's inner strength and his trust with humanity. Shadow became so obsessed with him, he decided to stay in the doomed future to interrogate him instead of returning to the present. Mephiles callously reveals to Shadow that humanity will betray him. Given Shadow's reaction, we see that he's getting to him. Mephiles may be right, but when Mephiles asks Shadow to join him, he refuses and tells him that his destiny is for him to decide.
You forgive humanity this folly, then?
I determine my own destiny.
Wow, Shadow has definitely gotten better.
And by gotten better, you mean the Shadow Android, right? Because you play as the Shadow Android during Sonic 06. If you think I'm just talking out of my ass, no. I brought receipts. It looks like it's time for another intermission. I was going down the rabbit hole when I discovered a wealth of possible canon endings for Shadow the Hedgehog. But then I realized I didn't need any of them because the last story always starts on Black Comet. But I continued my search deeper and deeper. Within 8 minutes of the Black Doom vs. Super Shadow fight, Eggman reveals that this is the real Shadow from Sonic Adventure 2.
Can you hear me? This might be the last chance I have to speak to you, so what I said about having created you, it was all a lie. Everyone died during that horrible incident, but I rescued you with one of my robots. You lost your memory, that's all. You really are the ultimate life form my grandfather created.
Next, I needed definitive proof that Shadow the Hedgehog in Sonic 06 was in fact an android. When it came to me, his upgrades hold the key. In Sonic Adventure 2, Shadow and Sonic need to wear shoes in order to upgrade their light dash abilities. Meanwhile, in Sonic 06, I found what the elites don't want you to know. Sonic still needs shoes. Meanwhile, Shadow needs an air chip. Right. Sounds like a computer chip to me.
But what about Shadow's chaos abilities in the game?
Ah yes, the chaos abilities are upgraded through Memory shards. Right. And what word rhymes with shard again? Ladies and gentlemen, I left no stone unturned in my perilous journey to the truth, but I believe I have found the biggest piece of evidence to prove my case. In the final cutscene of the last story of Shadow the Hedgehog, after destroying Black Doom with his comet, he decides to stay on the space colony Ark forever.
Goodbye forever, Shadow the Hedgehog.
Wow, I honestly should have just led with that. Then I wouldn't have had to waste time doing this shitty-ass conspiracy bit. Alright, let's get back to the video now.
Silver's another character who builds him up. Mephiles manipulated Silver into trying to kill Sonic to stop the fiery monster Iblis. But the two investigate Mephiles and Iblis' origins to find the answers, which is an integral part of Silver's character arc. It's possible that Shadow sees a bit of himself in Silver, a naive kid who thinks what he's doing is right, even though it's crazy. This is the closest Shadow gets to being a mentor figure.
It's possible that Shadow sees a little bit of himself in Silver? Are we really being serious? Maybe it's just the fact that Shadow needs to expose Silver to the truth in order to get him to stop hurting his allies.
Elise!
It's time to end this! Mephiles! Why are you getting in my way?
I'm Shadow the Hedgehog.
I'll change the past and save the world!
Mephiles isn't trying to help you create a better future. He's trying to eliminate the past.
What? What are you talking about?
To discover what happened, it seems we must see what took place 10 years ago. Follow me if you want the truth.
This chapter also shows Shadow's compassionate side. Look at this cutscene where he checks that the Duke of Soliana is alright. Mephiles told him that the world will turn on him, but he helps this guy anyway. His companionship with Sonic is also good here. They work together multiple times throughout the story, and after Sonic's temporary death, Shadow expresses some grief for him. His friendship with Rouge and Omega is developed as well. He saves Rouge in Kingdom Valley, and he stands between her and Iblis in Flame Core. And then there is Omega. Listen to how somber Shadow is when he has to leave Omega in Crisis City.
It's not like we can do anything for him now.
Omega confesses to Shadow that the world will order him to apprehend him in the future. Look at Shadow's face. He's hurt by this. He feels betrayed, not just by humanity, but by Omega.
You know, funnily enough, Mephiles and Omega have a little chat before this scene takes place.
This only proves you were created to stop Shadow, the ultimate life form. Don't tell me you didn't know. You may have been programmed by humanity, but what you did to Shadow in the future, that was your...
So, even more proof that you're playing as the Shadow android. And I thought that conspiracy bit was dumb.
But even after all the drama and harsh truths, Shadow sticks with his friends to defeat Mephiles and take the ultimate evil down. In Shadow's final battle with Mephiles, the evil doppelganger questions why Shadow will fight for good even though mankind will turn on him.
Why fight at all? Why risk your life for those who will persecute you later?
If the world chooses to become my enemy, I will fight like I always have.
That is really good. He doesn't care what the world thinks about him. He stands by his friends and proclaims that he'll keep on fighting. The way Shadow was written here feels refreshing. I'd love to see where his character goes from here.
Okay, so this is basically the ending of his video. I mean, there is a couple minutes left, but he just goes on complaining about how later games misrepresent Shadow, which to some extent is true. So let's just wrap things up now. So, what have we learned here today? Not much. I mean, this video is just kind of bad. I mean, ignoring the fact that he constantly lies, he also, in the last part of the video, just starts crying about the way that Shadow is being portrayed in the games.
Rants about how lame friends are. That's why you like him, right? His Boom counterpart is the antithesis of Shadow's character. Shadow has admiration for Sonic. He risked his life on the wishes of two well-meaning young girls. He doesn't think he's better than everyone else, and he cares deeply about his friends. As a Shadow fan, this is offensive. He would play a major role here. He took another step back in the recent Team Sonic racing. He's forcefully edgy and acts like Sonic's an inferior punk. And I hated when he drove past Rouge and Omega when they needed his help in Team Sonic Racing Overdrive, like he doesn't care about them. And as of this recording, Team Sonic Racing is the latest we got out of him. The games this decade put him in to sell copies, but they practically give us the finger through Shadow for a few minutes and then he's gone. You can't just put him in there. You need to show respect and understanding of him. Otherwise, the fans will feel alienated.
It's only a game. Why do you have to be mad?
I'm sorry I sound angry in this video, but seeing Shadow this way breaks my heart.
Oh wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
I'm sick of his one-note edgelord persona, and I'm sick of his spin-off game being the source of his current personality. If Shadow will be in the upcoming 2021 game, then please get him right. He's not a villain, he's not an anti-hero, and he's not an edgelord. He's one of the most popular characters because he had a genuinely moving arc, not because he's edgy meme fodder. He's a quiet hero who cares about others. He's done with his desire for revenge, his hatred of people, and his superiority complex. He's moved on. He has a responsibility to protect the world since his oldest friend believed that was his purpose. It's not that he thinks he's better than everyone else. This isn't Shadow, and neither is this, or this, or this, or this. The internet will keep calling him an angsty edgelord, and Sega may officially do the same, but I'll always see him as the hero he is.
So remember earlier when I said this was a quintessential example of propaganda? I meant that wholeheartedly. Throughout this entire video, what did you see? You saw this guy take things out of context, straight up make things up, lie by omission. It's just really bad. It's just a terrible video. It's not like all this guy's content is bad. I like the Nuggles video. I haven't watched anything else, or at least I don't remember, but generally speaking, this guy probably makes decent videos. I just don't know why he decided to make this video when it's just clearly garbage. Like, it's just fanboy garbage. Like, it's so ineffective at convincing me that Shadow is anything but an anti-hero. Like, why did he include the part where Eggman threatens Amy in front of Rouge and Shadow, instead of showing the part where Shadow goes to save Rouge? It's so bad. It's so unconvincing. But hey, that's gonna be it for today's video. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more cringe content.